Hey guys, it's Sanjana, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make DIY cream puffs, and I'm so excited for this video, so I'm going to try to contain my excitement, but I just can't because this, just ignore that, because I've never made pâte à choux dough before, and pâte à choux is like what you see in cream puffs and eclairs. I've never made it before, and it's my first time making it, and I was so nervous. You should have seen me. I did not leave the pot or the pan for a second because I didn't want to mess anything up. And it's really hard to make something on camera for the first time because sometimes you get too focused on making sure you get all the angles right and all you film everything properly and stuff. So it was really hard to keep my eye on the stove because I had to set up the tripod in this way and then this way. So it was really hard, but they turned out fantastic and I was so excited. Now, the recipe that I used, I actually halved so I got less cream puffs because if this recipe turned out badly, I didn't want to have 20 sucky cream puffs, so I only had about 11. And this is my first time making cream puffs, so I wasn't sure what size to make them. Some of them are this big, and some of them are this big, and just go with it. But so basically I made a cream puff with whipped cream in the center and a chocolate glaze, and I put some sprinkles on top to kind of get it in the Valentine's Day feel. I don't know. But yeah, and I'm just so excited, and they turned out really well. And for first time making pâte à choux, I'm pretty impressed, and you guys probably want to see the video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So you'll need an electric whisk or a regular one if you're up for the challenge, which is really hard, so don't be up for it. Just get electric whisk. Half a cup of whipping cream, 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, some sprinkles, which is optional, just to top them off with, half a cup of flour, 1/4 cup of butter, half a cup of water, 2 eggs, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and a couple other tools that will be listed down below, so check that out down below. The first thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 425 and put my stove top at medium heat. Put your water and your butter into a saucepan. And start to stir together until the butter starts to melt. Once the butter has melted, wait for it to simmer and bubble like so, and then once it's bubbling, take it off the heat right away. Add your flour and your salt and stir it vigorously until it turns into a ball or a thick dough, a really thick dough like you will see right now. Once you have formed that really thick dough, I'm going to transfer it to a separate bowl just because I think that it's easier to crack the eggs without them scrambling if it's not in a hot pan. So this bowl that I'm transferring it in, it was in the fridge, so it's actually cold, so the eggs will not scramble. And then you want to crack 2 eggs in one at a time, making sure you mix it thoroughly before you crack your second egg in. And at first, it'll seem like, it's not going to come together because it's so slimy, but it will. Trust me, just keep on mixing. And don't judge my egg cracking. I'm practicing how to crack with one hand, and it's still in, I'm still practicing. It's not perfect yet, but my second crack was much better. Back to the pâte à choux. It looks slimy and disgusting. It's it's not going to ever mix, but just keep on mixing it. And once it's become this paste, you can crack in your second egg and then mix it again. Alright, it looks good, so I'm going to crack in our second egg, which this crack was much, much better until that shell got in. So yeah, just mix it again, and it should turn into an elasticy thick paste, and you've done it properly if your arm is really, really tired. Alright, so this is our goal. This is what you want it to look like. Thick, pasty dough kind of batter. It kind of looks like it's a dough and a batter combined. So I'm going to put it in my Ziploc bag because I don't have a pastry bag, but it works just as well. I'm going to put it in a cup, and I'm going to spoon the batter or the dough. I don't know what to call it because it's kind of a mix of both, but I'm going to spoon it into this Ziploc bag. I'm going to cut off the tip and pipe golf ball sized cream puffs onto my tin foil because I didn't have any parchment. But that one is basically too big. Your size, you want it to be the size of the first one. So I've never made these cream puffs before, so I didn't know how they were going to puff up and stuff. But these actually kind of, I think, double in size. So don't make them huge like I did here. The one that I did, the first one, was actually the perfect size until I got way too carried away and made them humongous. That one was a pretty good size too. Don't judge. I don't know what I'm doing here, why I'm skipping a spot or whatever. But the first one was the perfect size, a little smaller than a golf ball because they puff up so huge. So if you have those tips, then just dip your fingernail into a little bit of water and just puff the tips down. That one looks really ratchet, I know. Don't judge it. And then you want to bake them off for about 25 to 30 minutes until they're golden brown. You do not want them to be blonde. You want them to be crispy and hollow and not doughy. So do not underbake them. In the meanwhile, pour your cream into a bowl. And I used too much cream. I didn't know how big it was going to be because the cream doubles in size. And I'm going to start whipping it. I really suggest that you use an electric whisk because a while back I tried to use a hand whisk when I was whisking my cream and oh my god, it did not work at all. I had to quit like halfway because my arms, my fingers, my elbow, my shoulder, everything was sore. So just get one or borrow someone else's if you're trying to whip cream. You cannot do this by hand. Anyways, you want it to be nice and thick, and your texture, you want it to be like really firm. You don't want it to be any soft cream. So I'm gonna actually add some icing sugar because it's not very sweet. So I'm gonna add some icing sugar. Use icing sugar, not regular sugar, because regular sugar has like that crunchy texture to it. So I'm gonna add some icing sugar and I'm gonna add a dash of vanilla. The vanilla is optional. Some people like to add it, some people don't. I like to add it just because it gives it more of a flavor. Because, you know, our pâte à choux doesn't really have much flavor. It has no sugar. And that is the texture we're looking for. We want it to be able to hold up its own shape when our whisks are, you know, you can lift up your whisk and it should be able to hold its own shape. You don't want it to be so soft. I'm transferring it to a Ziploc bag. I'm going to cut off the edge and then I'm going to stuff the cream puffs kind of really full. You don't want them to be not stuffed. So I'm going to stick my Ziploc bag in and squeeze it until I see some of the cream starts to come up the other way. That's how you know it's filled enough. So as you can see, I'm going to squeeze it, and then once the cream starts to come up the other direction, that means it's filled enough. Now for the chocolate, I'm going to melt some butter. There's no specific measurement for this part, but I'm just melting the butter, and then I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, and I'm sorry that this part was not in focus. I'm going to cover that with a coaster that I just found lying around for about 5 minutes so that the butter can, you know, melt the chocolate, and then I'm going to stir that. And if you have to melt it again, go ahead and do so. I definitely had to melt it again. My chocolate was looking too thick, so I had to add some cream and then mix it again and let it set so that it can get thick. So let it sit on the table for about 5 minutes so it can get thick and luscious and smooth. And this is what you want your chocolate sauce to look like. So once you let it set, it should be thicker and smooth, and you want it to be nice and thick for drizzling. So I'm going to take the whisk because it's really easy to drizzle if you're using a whisk, and I'm going to drizzle it onto my cream puffs. Then I'm going to, just like so, as you can see, it looks so good. Don't skip the chocolate because it gives it some extra flavor. Sprinkle some sprinkles on top and you are done. Like, it's so easy. Thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'm begging you, please try this recipe. A lot of people think that cream puffs and eclairs are so difficult, but once you see how easy it is, and it literally takes 5 that took a long time, 5 ingredients. It was so simple, and I think that you guys have all the things in your house. If you don't have a piping bag, you can just use a Ziploc bag, and everyone has like a cookie sheet in an oven. So these were so delicious. They were so airy and light and fluffy, and the cream in the center was delicious. And one tip that I have is to just not underfill. Do not underfill them, because when you bite into a cream puff, you're expecting all that cream, and if there's like none, you're gonna be like really disappointed. So fill it until cream starts to come out the other way. That's what I did. Please try these, and if you do, send me a picture. All my links will be down below. Follow me on Instagram, on Snapchat. What else? Subscribe if you haven't already. Our goal is to reach 500 by Valentine's Day. So 500 subscribers. Why am I doing this? 500 by February 14th? Is it 14th or 15th? I don't know. But if you're not subscribed already, then click subscribe and like this video. Let's get it to 20 likes for our first dessert of 2015. Oh, dang it, no, 2016. Our first dessert of 2016. Yay! And it was a good one. Usually the things I do are like cupcakes and cookies, and I've already made those things 1,000 times, so I know how to do cupcakes and cookies. But this one was really adventurous. I've never made pastry before, so I'll probably make it a lot more now because it's so easy. It's literally butter, water, sugar, flour. There's no sugar, never mind. Butter, flour, water, salts, and eggs. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon. I'm trying to upload as quickly as possible now. I'm sorry that it's taking so long. There's so many projects now because it's like that core time of the school year. But yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!